The gaps in what we know, we tend to fill in with what we fear. And this happens everywhere in life. So much of the time when I'm working with couples, for example, and one partner is really upset with the other, many times it's just because they don't know how to interpret something that was said or something that they did. And once they understand what the other person's intent was, or once they understand what was going on with the person, then all of a sudden it was like, wow, why was I so upset by that? Now it makes sense. But like when you didn't send me a card, or for my birthday, or you didn't call when you were running late, since I didn't know what was happening, what I replaced it with is, what did I fear was happening? My fear was that you don't love me, you don't care about me, you're injured, you're lost, something has happened, something bad is about to happen, something is going on that is going to leave me in a position to be hurt, right? Or I'm going to lose you, or something bad is going to happen, right? Some kind of fear gets evoked. When we're in a situation where, someone doesn't hold a door for us, or we see somebody looking our way and smirking, and if we don't know that they're actually looking at another person behind us, we can interpret that as, they're mocking us, or, you know what I mean? I mean, we kind of fill in the blanks of what we know with what we fear is true. So what I would offer you to think about today, and this is just kind of a daily thing, is when you find yourself observing something or find yourself reacting to something, ask yourself, am I reacting to this because I don't really know what's going on, right? If somebody is late and I find myself reacting to that, am I reacting because what I fear is happening is taking the place of what I know is happening? If somebody is late to lunch and we react to God, they don't even respect us enough to show up on time, or whatever that is, right? Or, oh my God, I hope they're okay. Ask yourself and just observe that and just say, you know what? Just because I'm feeling that doesn't make it true, right? Just because it feels true doesn't make it true. Where I see this a lot in relationships too is that oftentimes people will not feel as though their partner cares about them, is present with them, loves them, thinks about them, and that happens oftentimes because the communication doesn't typically happen very well in many relationships. And so what is uncommunicated oftentimes is filled in with the fear, right? So I had one couple who came in, and this woman was like, my husband could care less if I exist. And he looked at her and he's like, I love you more than anything in the world. And she's like, but you never tell me that. And he said, I think he was joking, but he said, well, I told you that in 1974, as kind of a joke. But the point was that he did absolutely care for her and love her. But because she didn't know that, because he hadn't communicated that to her, she kind of wrote a story based on her own fears that he didn't care, and that he didn't love her, and that she was alone, and that there was nothing left in their relationship. Now, we had to talk about how to communicate better, right? Between those, with that couple. But that really illustrates a point that I think is very, very powerful for all of us, right? We tend to create stories in our heads based on what we fear is true when we lack the information about what is true. And so I would challenge you to just pay attention to that. And if you find yourself starting to create a story about, oh, well, they don't care, or if they really cared, they would call me, or they must not like me, or whatever that is, they don't want to spend time with me, whatever that is, right? Just notice that, and I would challenge that and just say, you know what? That is a story I'm creating right now, but that may not be true. It may not be accurate at all. And if you see a person that you're starting to create a story, even sharing that with them and just saying, you know what? This is going to sound crazy. I get it. But, when you didn't call the other day, all of a sudden I was starting to just feel like, oh my God, I just don't matter, or they don't care about me. And most likely the other person will laugh because they do the same thing too. We all do this, right? And it's a normal human thing to do, but it only serves to create more distress and reinforce some of our own fears and insecurities. So if you notice yourself kind of creating a story about something that, that you, based on what you fear is true, I would just challenge that and just tell yourself, you know what? I can feel myself reacting to this, and what I'm fearing may be true, and the story I'm telling myself here may be complete fiction. It may not be accurate at all, right? Just to give it a little bit less power. So, hope you found this helpful. See you next time.